one of the things that's been basically forgotten about something about there's quite a few things. For one thing, the Russia's currency, Russia's value, was basically based on ruby. That's why they have rubles. Because back in the day, back in 1700 and 1200 and all those other years, as soon as Russians got there or people got into Russia, basically they found rubies. So people were giving out rubies for money, like they would gold. Like I say, they say that when they say things like the Russian gold rush or stuff like that, Russia never really had that kind of a rush. Russia had a stone rush. In Russia, they found rubles or rubies, basically. Later on, they changed they called the currency the ruble, but it was actually the ruby. They had precious stones. They found emeralds and rubies. Like I said, they found the tallest, biggest mountain in Russia, basically. And then they went down and started mining underneath it. Because I wanted to see, and because some old person said, that used to be a volcano. Their long legend says that used to be a volcano. And maybe I said that, oh yeah, they did used to be a volcano. I'm not exactly sure. But basically they started mining. They got deep down. It was a really tall mountain. So they went down to the base and then they started mining in and down, basically. And when they got down there deep, they found rubies. They happened to just run into this giant field of rubies. They got down there really deep, somewhere around the center or somewhere in there, basically, and they hit this thing where there was just rubies. They showed them. There's this old picture of them, and basically you see this thing, and it's just like all rubies, basically, just a wall of rubies, pretty much, about yay big, just glittering with rubies, basically, or emeralds or something like that. There's like this place where there's all these stones, basically. I forget exactly because I had several mines around there. Anyway, though, but they did find they found a lot of precious stones in Russia, basically, in the rock, basically. They had to chip and carefully take them out of the rock. They had to because they're encased in granite or something like that, or some sort of stone. Anyway, I don't really know. I just know that they found a lot of them there. So basically, in Russia, I based the currency on the ruby, or precious stones. So all of Russia, the currency is backed by precious stones. And that's different. Like I said, in America and or a lot of places, I backed my currency by metals. And gold being one, but I actually backed my currency with all metals. Basically, with a dollar or any of my currency types, you could buy copper, you could buy steel, you could buy pig iron, you could buy blister steel, you could even buy some... Well, actually, Damascus wasn't offered to the public, by the way. Damascus was the only steel that I was like, I want to save that for myself. But, you can go ahead and mine it. I mean, I was like, you can mine it. Anyway, but I was saving, I mined like 50% of the Damascus steel type or that kind of rock, and then there was like 20 to 30% that I was like, let's go ahead and save that for prosperity, because, we've done so well, and we made, they made a lot of Damascus steel screws and stuff like that from that kind of rock, that kind of mineral. Anyway, it's all minerals, it's not really a steel, it's a rock, with some other stuff already in it. And you can actually make steel from other steel, now that we understand about, or since we understood about steel and everything else, we could make, we could change steel. And that's why I paid my shot people so much. I had these people, they would load the shot, and I paid them really well. And that's why there's a video of them, basically, because I paid them like at least double, or, well, they only worked 4 hours a day. Because they'd come to work and they would only work about 4 hours a day. So they would get paid double for those 4 hours. So it's like they worked a full day, but they only work 4 hours. So they're not really actually getting paid more exactly. They're just getting paid more per hour. But they had to understand, but then they spent the other 4 hours of the day. They actually worked a full day. It's just that they only did, work for about 4 hours or 2 hours, basically. The rest of the day they spent, messing around and making sure that they knew exactly how to get that steel right. Because, the whole point was that the steel had to be perfect, so basically they had to know exactly how much to add, exactly what to add, and everything. So they had to have a fair amount of schooling. So, which is why I actually paid them. Actually, I started to pay them a little bit more than that, but they're paid pretty well, basically, because they got the shot just right. the minerals types, because you always add a little bit of something to something else to make it just right for the kind of steel that's been requested by the customer. Like I said, we did sell steel in bulk too. So because other people, not every building is mine. Quite a few buildings are mine or became mine, and the whole countries became mine because, like I said, I kept having problems with people saying, no, it's our country, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, actually, I bought it a long time ago. And anyway, how much to buy you off? Okay. Anyway, I've paid off quite a few people where it's like, go away, thank you. Now we're going to do what I want to do. Because I know I'm right. So anyway, women would be like, because I know I'm right. Women copy me a lot. But basically, that's what I did a lot of times is stuff like the little helicopters, like the kamov. It's really a Ranult, by the way. I don't know why they named it the kamov or whatever. But it's actually, it's actually German and Ranult, basically, together. And it was LS me, really, because I was like, well, let's make a helicopter. I want to make a helicopter. Because I was kind of tired of all the complicated helicopters, and I just wanted something simple that anyone could fly, and anyone could own. And so, like I say, around, they actually started doing helicopters around 1890 or so. And then by 1920 or 1930, I was like, hey, I really want to do this. And they're like, well, all right. So they started messing around, and the hardest part, like I say, was the transmission. It's this great big transmission that's really complicated and everything. But once you get past the transmission, then it's just a normal helicopter, and it's actually rather simple. And also the control setup for because you don't actually increase. It's kind of weird. Like you press the left one and the little thingy turns out, and the throttle increases on the engine. So it's like, So it's like then it goes. It's a really Renault sat down and really made this really complicated, this really sophisticated control system that was really good. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, and they sold a lot of them. So anyway, it was a really popular helicopter. And I was so rich. LS. Lucifer me. Anyway, so yeah. They sold a lot of those. They're his most popular helicopter ever. And people loved them a lot. So anyway, yep. That was me. And like I say, it's a funny story because they said, no, you can't produce those helicopters. You can't sell them. You don't have the licensing. You don't have this. You don't have that. And I was like, yes, I do. I'm Lucifer. And we can do whatever we want. So, and we ended up buying a country, and then some other country was like, you can't sell them in our country, and the people voted that they could. Like this other country, like Utah, like there was this other country that was like, we want to join you, so because they wanted my helicopters. So, anyway, they wanted to be able to buy my helicopters. It's amazing how many people loved the helicopters. I loved them too, but anyway, yeah.